And the fifth charity Star Scorpio is donating to is, oh my gosh. Welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio, Season 1, Episode 5. Before I bring my next guest in, I'd like to thank everyone for watching my videos and sharing my videos. I really appreciate it. If you haven't seen Episode 3 with singer-songwriter Aaliyah Jazz, check it out here. And if you haven't seen Episode 4 with hip-hop artist Eddie Knight, check it out here. Both on my YouTube page, really great interviews. Now, for fitness talk, I sit down with Jake Portolese. He's an amazing human being who lives to motivate and strengthen others through their mind and body. We're going to talk about a lot of things today and how we can stay positive in this blink of an eye life we're living. Let's bring him in. Morning, Jake. How you doing today? Welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio.
I'm doing great, Star Scorpio. It's a blessing to be here. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And you know, we're broadcasting from Toronto. Let the people know where you are right now.
I'm in Pennsylvania right now in the U.S.
Nice, nice. All right, Jake. So it seems like you've chosen a career path in health and wellness, and you've also adopted in your life. But I want to start from the beginning. So, you know, most guys like myself, we started working out in high school to boost our confidence and also gain some muscle mass. How did it start for you, like the fitness working outside?
Good question. Good question. So personally, I would say I started working out in middle school, but it wasn't serious. You know, I think that's like kind of all of us. It's like I had a basement in my gym, so I would go down there and throw some weights around. I was probably hurting myself probably not knowing what I was doing correctly at all, just throwing weights around, damaging something wrong.
Yeah.
Over time, one of my biggest inspirations in my life is my brother, my older brother. And he taught me a lot about, you know, how to lift properly. I had coaches in my life that taught me how to lift properly. So entering high school, I kind of took it a little more serious. And then about senior year in my high school, when I was going into my community college, I was like, I'm gonna take this more serious because I just had a passion for it. I kind of loved understanding how I could take a workout. I could take an exercise specifically, like a body movement, let's say like the curl, and understand what it's working, understand how to specifically do the movement and really break it down and kind of go in depth in it. And then I kind of fall in love with like creating a whole workout program for myself and then going from there and seeing myself grow. And that's where I was like, when I started to see that progress, and obviously it's a process, the progress of your body is a process. So it's like, I'm going through it and I'm seeing myself grow. And I'm like, looking myself in the mirror, like, wow, like this is incredible. You know, I'm seeing a change in myself. And over the span of, I've 4 years now, I guess I've been lifting, and it's off and on. It's always off and on. So it's like, there's periods where I won't be lifting for 4, 5, almost a week, maybe, you know, because I'm doing something else. But it's throughout that whole process of working out in the past 4 to 5 years, it's been incredible. And it's just been like, I've been getting more in depth with it as I've went along, and I've had great people throughout my college. I've had professors that helped me and guided me. So it's just wonderful classes for that as well. So
yeah. And you talked about focusing on when you're lifting, focusing on that connection. So that was actually my next question. When exercising, some people don't know the importance of being mindful of what you're doing. So when you're doing a bicep curl, the contraction, you know, focusing on pulling it up slowly, and then also the extension. And even when you're running, focusing on your breathing, how important is that? Not just lifting weights to lift weights, getting my sets and reps over with. How important is that?
Yeah, I could go into this forever. Oh my gosh, the importance of breath both inside the gym and outside the gym is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. I'll talk about in the gym for a little bit. So the thing I found too, not just with breathing, but with incorporating gratitude. This is incredible. So like when you're working out, when you get into that gym, wherever you are, for me personally, I love to just be centered in that present moment with my lift. If I'm with on shore, like I'm present with that other person. I'm with that other person while we're working out. But when I'm working out by myself, I love to just be in that moment with a lift and enjoy the time that I have and the space that I have with myself. Because if I'm either in the past I'm stressing about something. If I'm thinking about something in the future while I'm working out, I'm anxious. I'm not going to be focusing on that contraction, that eccentric, that full range of motion I'm trying to go through. And that's so important for your growth, for anyone's growth that they're trying to see throughout whatever process they're going through. So incorporating that breath and just really honing yourself down, because when you start to breathe and you start to focus on your breath, exactly like running, you start to become into the present moment. And you enter into the present moment. Okay. And then you focus on that. And then I love to I'll grab a dumbbell, beginning my lift, and just do a couple, whatever I'm doing, I'll just do a couple warm-up reps, but that helps me center. So if it's something like warming my hips up, I'll do some like 90 by 90s. My knees are on the ground, I'm going back and forth, and I'm just breathing. I'm just getting myself ready, getting myself centered. I feel like not a lot of people do this, but I really challenge people to try it, because just breathing, do a couple of deep breaths. You know, even after you do an exercise, you take about 5 deep breaths. It's crazy, and it's phenomenal how it works. Bring your body into a more parasympathetic, calmer state, or you relax your body a little bit, and then you go back into the next one. You get ready to go. Running as well. The thing is, I haven't ran as much as I used to. I do a lot of jump rope. I do a lot of cardio indoors. The thing I love about outdoors, which I'm so excited to get back into it, especially when it gets warmer too. It's a little warmer right now, but I know in Canada, it's probably, I don't know if it's crazy cold right there or not.
No, not yet. It's coming there. It's fall.
Coming.
Fall's coming.
but I mean, when I used to run outside, and I would get to this point in my run where I would just be focusing on my breath and my surroundings. I would literally enjoy everything I'd be seeing. So when I run, I got to be in somewhere where it's scenery. I got to see something. I got to be able to see some forest. I got to be on a trail, because then I can just soak in the love of this, in the moment that I'm in, and be like, I forget about the run. I forget about what's going on. And like, this is so exhausting. I don't want to do that. Leaves my mind when I get to a point where I realize, wow, look what's around me. Look what's around me. I just start to breathe. I start to enjoy, and then it becomes an enjoyment. The process is enjoying at that point. So yeah, that breath is so vital inside and outside the gym. But when you incorporate something like gratitude, something like presence, you take it to the next level. You take that to the next level, and that appreciation for what you're doing, it's tremendous. It goes up, it's crazy.
Yeah. And just expand on that, because you have a great YouTube video. I was binge watching your videos.
Thank you.
And and my wife too. And I seen one where you're talking about breathing techniques. Can you expand on that as well? Because you're beside the tree and you're talking about the oxygen and the inhale and exhale.
Yeah, for sure. So something that my community college, I had the honor of actually teaching a whole class on breathing techniques to some of my fellow students. And what happens is, dating all the way back to when we were babies, you can look at a baby, you can look at a dog, and you look at the way they breathe, right? And they breathe correctly. They breathe into their abdomen, then they exhale out of their abdomen, right? They're all breathing correctly. The dog, their stomach does the same thing. Over time, what happens is that we tend to take on stress from external environments. This could be external from people. It could be external from social media now, the news, whatever it is. We start to just take on this external, and we anchor it into our body, and we kind of curl up, and all this stress builds up, and we tend to we leave this breath pattern of coming into the lower abdomen, tends to creep up into our chest, tends to come to our shoulders. And if I look at a lot of people, like when I was doing this talk, I was looking at everyone, I had everyone kind of sit up, because that's the first step. You want to sit up straight. And I was kind of monitoring their breath, and every breath went into their upper chest. It went into their neck. It went into their shoulders. And that over time, that's why I was like, okay, we got to rewire this. We got to figure out how can we bring it to the bottom and then travel up, right? We want to actually bring it to our lower abdomen. We want to come out to the sides of our rib cage, and then we want to really get that full, like, deep breath in. And that's so powerful when we learn how to master that. And it's, for me, I always lose control. Time and time again, I'm creeping up when I get stressed, when I get anxious. I realize that I'm either holding my breath for a quick second, or I'm bringing it up top. So what I had them do was I had them go through a couple of breathing techniques, and I had them go through 3 of them. The last one's pretty interesting. So the first one, it's just called water breathing. So water breathing is just a simple in for 4 seconds, out for 4 seconds. It's a simple count. So they would sit up straight and tall. They would put their left hand on their heart, on their chest. They put their right hand on their stomach, their lower abdomen. And what I would do is I would say, focus on raising the bottom hand. So if you see me right here, I would say, focus on raising this bottom hand. That's all you do. If this left hand that's on my chest, if it rises, then that means your breath's going to your upper chest. Everyone did it. Chest, the left hand rose. So, okay, now let's be more conscious. Let's really try to focus on, and it was a struggle for a lot of people. And I'm not gonna lie, because it was a struggle for me when I found this out. And I was like, really trying to hone that breath into the bottom, and then you can kind of travel it up. So we did this for a bit, 4-second count, 4 in, 4 out, 4 in, 4 out. Close your eyes if you need to or not. And then we went on to the next one, which is called whiskey breathing. Whiskey breathing, the term whiskey is kind of like a loopy state. So what you're doing, you have this thing in your body known as your autonomic nervous system. It's literally everything, controls everything. There's 2 branches of this. You have the parasympathetic, which is like your rest and digest state. So you're more relaxed, helps with digestion. Then you have your sympathetic, it's known as like your fight or flight. You see a bear in the woods, you're either fighting the bear, I'm running, all right, I'm running and that bear. So the parasympathetic is that whiskey breathing. When you activate this, we're doing the same thing. You're in for 4 seconds and you're exhaling for 6 to 8 seconds. Deeper exhale with carbon dioxide. So you're letting out more carbon dioxide out of your body. You're coming more relaxed. So we did this, and we went to the last one, which is coffee breathing. This one's a little funky, and I know a lot of people want to do it because what you're doing is it's the coffee. You're active, sympathetic. You're becoming more aware. You're more ready to go. What they would do, you inhale and then you exhale, like sneezing for 20 breaths. So it's like, and it's a little weird. You're just exhale. So you're getting your body more primed. So water breathing, you can do that any time of the day. If you just want to center yourself, you just want to become more present to the moment. You come home from work, you're a little stressed out, someone just wants to be more present in class or whatever it is. Just start the water breathe. Maybe you're kind of losing focus on the present. I like to do that when I'm in class, trying to focus and I'm losing focus. I just start to do some water breathing, 4 in, 4 out. And then you can do whiskey breathing. It's kind of like putting your body to sleep. I like that one. You don't want to do it when you're driving, especially coffee breathing. You want to do whiskey breathing when you're really, really stressed out, about to go to bed. And then coffee breathing, maybe before a game, someone wants to play, they're waking up, they can do it. But those are like the 3 ones that I love to introduce to people. It's the kind of the first time doing it. You have Wim Hof's breathing technique, which is a whole nother thing. That's like, wow.
So where you learn it? What are you studying right now? Where are you learning all these amazing techniques and the schooling that you've done? What are you taking?
Yeah, so it's various. It's like from many different sources. My mother, as a chiropractor, she has influenced me with that as well. So my brother's studying to become a chiropractor as well. He has helped me understand these various different breathing techniques and how they kind of work throughout your body as well, and how to do them. That's how I first figured out the hand on the chest, is because funny story. I came home one day back in community college. I think it was like end of senior year or first year of community college. It was one of those. Came home and I was eating my dinner. My mom was right next to me. And I was like, why when I breathe, it hurts? Like, I'm breathing and I feel like I'm not getting enough air. Like it was weird. It's like, I feel like I should be breathing more. Then I feel like my breath is shallow. So she's like, okay, let's do something. And I think she called it, the way she described it was like submarine or like a balloon. Like you want to fill your stomach like a balloon, right? It's like fill that air up in the bottom. So she went through it with me and I couldn't do it. I was like struggling just to bring oxygen into my lower stomach. I was like, just to expand. I'm like, wow, this is kind of tough. But that kind of actually inspired me to want to like research more. And I went on a craze. I watched a lot of TED Talks. I love watching TED Talks, people who use them. And then I learned a lot in my school as well. Schooling, some of my professors went to deeper in physiology. So I've had a lot of things about that. I've done some other research on it, created a bunch of presentations for my classes on it. So I've done so many things, done like a whole essay on it. I mean, I started taking it to the next level and just really enjoy it because I think it's so fascinating. Because even you saw on my YouTube, I've done a bunch of I've talked about breathing techniques. I've done covered my mouth. Yeah.
That's the one I wanted to talk about. There's so much I want to talk about today. I don't want to forget anything. That's one of the ones, if you can expand on that one.
Yeah.
So you have a video on YouTube where you taped your mouth while you slept for how many days?
Yeah, so it was 30 days. So
and then tell the people why you did it. Yeah,
for sure. So I was reading a book by James Nestor. It's called Breath. I really recommend that book to everyone. He's kind of along the lines of Wim Hof. He's kind of changing the way people breathe and just kind of diving more deeply into it. He did a whole study where he covered his nose for, I think it was a week. He just plugged his nose up for a week, and he only wanted to mouth breathe. So what we want to do is we want to avoid mouth breathing at night, because there's a condition known as sleep apnea. And this is basically snoring. I've
had it.
Just breathing through your mouth. Basically what happens at night, sleep apnea, your tongue falls back, the tissues in your throat relax, and it blocks your nose. So you just start to breathe through your snore through your mouth. And then what I did was I went out and bought these. I first went out and bought like adhesive, like little like light tape, and that wasn't working at all. I wanted something that was a little breathable, but something that would stick. That didn't work. And then my mom was like, oh, hey, there's something on Amazon. There's actually strips like made for it. It's like, oh, cool, I'll do this. So I did that for 30 days. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle at first. I would wake up and I was like, it would be off my mouth. But that told me something. I'm like, okay, I knew I snored a little bit, but I never personally thought I was a crazy, like I snored a lot, or if that was like obstructing my sleep.
Yeah.
Like, maybe something is happening here. And I just started to do it more and more. And over time, it started to get better. And that's the thing that we kind of want to train, especially if someone's a habitual mouth breather.
Right.
I want to revert to the nose. And that's what I'm doing. I'm blocking off my mouth. I'm focusing on breathing through the nose. I'm bringing everything there. I mean, nose breathing helps throughout so much. I mean, someone reads this book called Breath by James Nestor. They'll see that how much more oxygen we can get to the nose rather than the mouth. And it's crazy. And we can do things like meditation and breathe through our mouth. That's totally fine, but it's habitual. That's where it's like throughout our daily life, throughout while we're sleeping, we just want to be focusing on breathing into the nose. And I mean, that definitely helped a lot. It got me more aware of breathing through my nose. The 30 days was definitely like off and on. As I mentioned, I was waking up. Sometimes it was off. Sometimes it was on. It was uncomfortable at some points. I didn't like it, especially when I had the different tape. I was like, I don't like this at all. I was like, I want to take this off. But overall, I even saw kind of like a difference in my jawline. Yeah. And that was interesting. I was like, okay, because there's been many studies in the book that James Nestor talks about, is that as we start to breathe through our mouth, we deform our face. And especially if we're not eating, he talks about a lot about eating hard, healthy foods, kind of degrade the bones in our face. And over time, our face kind of like, it gets kind of wider, and, we lose those muscles, and we don't have like that strength that we usually have, because we have processed foods, we have shakes, we have all these things that are just so easy to get down, and we're not actually chewing a lot anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's crazy. But that has a whole correlation within that. It's hard for me to explain, because it's like he goes crazy in depth. I'm like, all right, he knows a lot more than me. But that's kind of my inspiration. After I read that book, I'm like, I was really inspired to start it. And I'm like, this would be a really cool video as well, because I didn't really see, I think, one other person do on YouTube. I'm like, this would be awesome if I tried this out. So yeah, it was definitely an experience, and I recommend it to people, but I'm not the doctor or anything. So it's like, it was a fun experience just to try.
I have a question from my friend Keishel from Toronto, because we're going to get into that mindfulness talk. She said, we can start like this. She said, what advice would you give to someone who is new to mindfulness? And what are some ways you can incorporate mindfulness in your everyday life?
I love that. So someone who is new to mindfulness, I would tell them, what are your values? I think one of the biggest thing that really dictates our whole life is our values. What's your beliefs, what's your values in life? If you can just create a list of 3 to 4 things that you value. Do you value freedom? Some of them are freedom. I value the love for myself. I value presence in life. I value growth. I have I'm a strong believer in growth mindset. And then look at these values, and then just ask yourself, this is a great way to start. If anyone just wanted to get more personal development and mindfulness, look at them and just write them down and be like, okay, am I meeting this today? And then at the end of the day, did I meet this today? What can I do to meet this today? So I'm just asking myself questions. And as I go throughout my day, I have someone that approaches me and they throw a negative comment at me. And I remember one of my values is self-love. I remember that. They say something to me and I'm like, I let that brush off. I just let it swipe off the side, because my value is self-love. it might not be that person's self-love. That's just where they're at in their life. And whatever it is to me, that's just where they're at. And I'm coming from them with love. I respect where they're at. You know, they're going to see it one day. They're going to go through it and they're going to become better. I know that. You know, it's just affirming to myself that I'm okay in my own body. But if someone is just getting into mindfulness, writing out values, writing out what their strong beliefs are, will really help them move in life. Because I feel like following our values is how we make our decisions in life. That's how we make every single decision we go through. So some practices you can do as well is affirm and meditate. That's powerful. I think over time, and as we get into Joe Dispenza, over time, just affirming to yourself, like, I love myself. It's like looking yourself in the mirror and saying this, feeling it in meditation. I do meditation. I don't do like any crazy type of meditation. I just like to sit in silence. I like to breathe. I like to feel the presence of God. I love to just feel emotion. And I think that's the powerful thing, right? We can say all the things we want. We can look at ourselves in the mirror. We can say, I am strong. I love myself. I am present to the moment. You know, I am great. I'm amazing. But if we're not acquiring and incorporating the feeling, that's where it makes the difference, right? If we're not actually saying, I am love, I love myself, and then feeling it. So how do we feel it? Someone's like, well, okay, I say it, but I don't feel it. Is there a time where you felt that love? Is there a time where you felt that growth happen to you, where you felt free? Go to that time. Go to that time where you felt, maybe you hugged someone and it just felt amazing. Feel that love. It doesn't matter what the event was, just feel it. Because the feeling is what shifts. The feeling's the shift in the life. So if I can feel love, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I was in church, a lady gave me a hug. That was amazing. She's a beautiful woman. Thank goodness. God bless her. And then I'm just feeling that emotion, but that's changing, that's shifting my life right now. And I'm like, wow, like I feel amazing. Now you changed your state, just altered your state. You altered your whole reality right now. Now I'm going about my day. I'm in this state of love. Everything I experience is love. I'm coming in, I'm seeing this person. I'm only approaching them with love because love is only my reality. So everything I see is love. And this could go for anything else, but that's just low basis right there.
Yeah, see, you're already touching on Joe Dispenza, man.
Yeah.
You and I spoke about this. I wrote down some points, man, because there's a lot of things he touches on. And there's one video when I was feeling bad at a point in time in my life, I would always listen to this one video. And I believe he talks about the power of the unconscious mind and how negative thoughts can do damage on your body. As we all know, we always hear it, right? But he was really talking about the power of the unconscious mind and how we can control that too.
Well, a habit is a redundant set of automatic, unconscious thoughts, behaviors, and emotions that's acquired through repetition. A habit is when you've done something so many times that your body now knows how to do it better than your mind. So if you think about it, people wake up in the morning, they begin to think about their problems. Those problems are circuits of memories in the brain. Each one of those memories are connected to people and things at certain times and places. And if the brain is a record of the past, the moment they start their day, they're already thinking in the past. Each one of those memories has an emotion.
Yeah, so Joe Dispenza, he went to chiropractic school too. Went to university. My brother and my mom graduated from. So he's chiropractor as well. But he does a lot of, and I forget the name of it. I think it's NL. It's a some neuro pathway thing he studies. But it's pretty crazy. It's in depth. He knows how to explain it way more than I do. Obviously, He said the way he describes, like, I'm still trying to understand like unconscious, conscious, like the way he's handling it. But he got me into understanding what I just mentioned, which was the feeling. Saying, you know, as when we look at the things, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I don't know if you heard of that quote. It's like, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I heard that from Dr. Wayne Dyer, but Joe Dispenza, he talks on this all the time. When we start to change the way we see everything and we start to speak out, okay, I am this, like I said, I am love. And then we incorporate that feeling of it. That's when our reality shifts. That's when we go from that unlocking that subconscious mind to the patterns that we never realized before. Because I'm doing things throughout my day that I'm not aware of right now. And that's when I started to dive more into like meditation, which is so important. Just sitting there in silence, like every single day, even if it's 5-10 minutes, 15, 20. And I start to realize my patterns. And he talks about this. He says, don't let your personal reality create your personality. That's deep.
Right.
Don't let your personal reality create your personality. I was like, hold on, personal reality create my oh no, because everything out there is kind of it's shifting what's going on. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I didn't think about that. But as I started to realize and become more conscious about, oh wow, this is happening. This is my pattern. This is an unhealthy pattern that's going throughout a habit that I'm doing throughout my day. How do I go from a point of breaking that? How do I break that habit? How do I do that? That's hard. That's a challenge, because when we start to do that, we become into, you probably know, he says unknown. It's unknown. When we go into a state of a new feeling we never felt before, like feeling of, it could be self-love. If I start to feel that for myself and I'm like, this feels weird. It doesn't feel right at first. I don't know how to feel about it. Someone might not be able to feel that emotion. They'll instantly want to go back to another emotion like guilt. And I think he talks about this in the video. They want to go back to guilt. It's more easy. It's known. It's a known feeling to them. So how do we get into that state of unknown? That's powerful. Now that's what Joe Dispenza goes on to that. He has so much he dives into, and I want to get back into reading some of his books as well. I don't think I've really read any of his. I just watched a lot of videos, but highly recommend that people check him out.
You have a podcast, Brain Gains podcast. Is this why you started? Because you wanted to share what you know and help people out? Or did you have another reason for starting it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I started that. And I think my first video was about cold showers, cold therapy, because one of my buddies who I connected with online was like, hey, I'm into cold showers as well. Do you want to dive deeper into it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And that's kind of when podcasts were kicking up. I definitely have to throw some more podcasts out in there too. But we did this convo and I loved it. I fell in love with it. We did a Zoom and then I put it up on there. It was called Health by Port at first. And I was like, I like brain gains. It sounds kind of cool, because you can have brain gains with fitness, it could be mental and it could be lifestyle. So I kind of want to generate the podcast itself around lifestyle, just everything, whether it's morning routines, whether it's cold showers, whether it's meditation, whether it's working out. So I have various things. I have talks on there that are, I have someone there who talks about, who's a kettlebell coach, talk about kettlebells and weightlifting. I did personal one-on-one talks just with myself, just myself, talking about gratitude, perspective, and just so many things I'm diving into. It's short little clips, but I think it just has a greater impact on someone who wants to listen.
It's crazy. I'm going to ask you a question about some of the challenges you've done. It seems like you've done a lot of different challenges on your page, but you mentioned cold showers. So I'm a cold shower guy too, where I start with, lukewarm hot water or whatever. And then closer to the end of the shower, I turn that down and then I get that jolt. Right? I heard something about it in the past and it rejuvenates me. But explain why cold showers are important for someone.
Yeah, cold showers are great. Honestly, and you speak of challenges. I did Wim Hof. If anyone knows who Wim Hof is, he got me into cold showers. He's known as the Iceman. He's this guy who can withstand insane cold temperatures. Diving in like the Arctic, he's going underneath the water and just learning, using his Wim Hof breathing technique with the shower. And I did this 40-day challenge and it was amazing. And I documented this on my YouTube. I went through it day by day. And there's so many little different benefits. Like there's stuff about you can lose weight because if you have something everybody knows, brown fat. So it activates brown fat, helps you lose weight. Personally, I had to do that for a while, to actually see something, to lose a couple pounds. It's not crazy. And I think if someone were to want to lose weight, they'd have to do ice baths, which is a whole nother level. I think it's like, I never done an ice bath. I really, really want to. I've sat in snow and stuff, and that was next level.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've done like I am chants in the snow with my room, like we're just yelling outside. But you have things like, if you lose weight, it creates alertness. It's like coffee. It's like literally a coffee replacement. I love going in my shower and I turn it on cold right away and I jump in because I want to progress. It's kind of like,
right away.
Oh yeah. So, so I started out when I first did this challenge 2 years ago, year and a half or so. I think it was 2. I started warm and then last little bit because Wim Hof had me go through that. Like he had this thing on his Instagram. It's like day by day, a check-in. It's like when you get out, you do this dance and it's like, it's getting you active and getting you inspired to do it. And I would go in the shower and the last like 15, 20 seconds, I hit the cold. And then it would increase over time, kind of like in the gym, you progressively overload. So I'm increasing it. And then I got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna just challenge myself. I'm gonna go to the next level. Maybe I'll put on some music to inspire me and boost me. And I jump in there right away when it's cold. There's multiple benefits, like how it brings more nitric oxide to your body, bringing more oxygen, great for your immune system. I think the greatest benefit of all, though, is mental toughness. And that's what I find is seeking that discomfort. And that's when we mentioned morning routines. In the first hour of your morning, if you can challenge yourself and hop in a cold shower, you started a huge obstacle. You beat a huge obstacle, even though it's like, it's a random obstacle. You told your mind, I'm ready. I'm ready for the day. You know, I put myself through something that was kind of tough, and I seek discomfort right there, but that was a challenge, and I'm willing to overcome other challenges, but I'm capable of that. I'm capable to do that. So it's kind of like you're training yourself with that. But I do challenge people to get to that point if they are willing to kind of increase the coldness over time and see how far they can get.
Yeah. And speaking of things that are like tough to do, I want you to just talk about fasting. So I adopted fasting maybe 3 years ago. And what I noticed is I can lose weight, you know, progressively over time, easy. And also it cleared my mind, and it took that hunger away, that craving for sugar that I have. And I was more focused for some reason. So what is your thoughts on fasting?
I love fasting. I do kind of like a 12-hour fast. It's really minor. It's small. So I'll do something like I'll eat my last meal around 8 to 9. I'm at college, so sometimes it's like 11 to 12. Who knows? It's every day, you know. So I usually try to go at least like 8:30. I'll try to eat my last meal, nothing crazy, and then I'll have that period where I sleep throughout my fast. And I think that's the easiest way of someone starting a fast is to sleep throughout the most of it. So eat your meal earlier into the night. Take your sleep about 12 hours. You wake up, and then maybe sleep for 8 hours, obviously, but you wake up and you have not much more time for that window to meet. And then you eat your meal. You introduce your first meal, which maybe it's an avocado, maybe it's, you know, little eggs, little almonds, whatever it is. I've done a challenge on my page about 3-day fast. So I did a 3-day fast with nothing, just water. That was, it was interesting. It was 3 or 5. No, it was 3. Yeah. So I did 2 things. Did 3-day fast with lemon juice, and then a 3-day fast which is known as the master cleanse, and then a 3-day fast with nothing. The 3-day fast with nothing was a challenge, but I think the reason I got through that was because my last meal was balanced. It was really balanced, like chicken, rice, broccoli. But I made sure like I was incorporating like avocado, like some healthy fats. Like I was trying to get a balanced meal, and before I actually entered that 3 days. And the first day was interesting. I was anxious. I was really anxious because I was like tired. I was fidgety. And then second day, I felt amazing. My energy levels went up. I felt boosted. You said your mind was clear.
Yes.
So clear on the third day. And the third day came, and I was like, I could go for another day or 2. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like good, but I was like, I like food, so I'm not good. I'm not gonna do that. No. But it's crazy what it does. I still have to do like so much more research into fasting. But the master cleanse is incredible as well, because what you're doing is you're detoxing your body. You're detoxing your body of anything you had in the past.
So I seen that. So I wanted you to talk about that. So you did the lemon juice with the cayenne pepper, I believe, right? Talk about that one then.
Yeah. So I found this fast out. I think my mother used to do it as well. I've been inspired by her so many times of the stuff she does. The original cleanse is 10 days. So for me personally, I didn't want to do 10 days just because I started to see myself like atrophy, especially because like I train calisthenics. I want to focus more on that than going to the 10-day extent. But if anyone do it, that's the actual original thing. So 3 days I did. And what it is, I bought a bunch of lemons. Probably see the thumbnail. I'm just holding a bunch of lemons. I got a bunch of lemons, and I think I had to go back to the store to get more because I was drinking a lot of it. And then I got maple syrup. It's like grade A or B. I forget which one is specific. I messed it up. I was supposed to get the other one. Someone told me, he's like, yeah, I get that. I was like, all right. Yeah. And then you got the cayenne pepper and just got the water. So you're mixing it all up, and it's really good for the first day, and then you get tired of it. And then I was drinking it. I loved it. I was like, wow, this tastes really good. And I was like, okay, this is I do want something different now. You're recommended to drink like 8 to 12 glasses a day. I was probably on my first day, I think I did like 7. And then I was reaching more like 10, 11 on the last 2 days. But you clear things out of your system that it's nasty, but you get things out that you didn't know were in your body before. And it's crazy to think what's been harbored in our body this whole time, and just detoxify. And if I did the 10-day, I guarantee you I would have changed something would have happened. I was just like, wow, like this, I feel 20,000 times better. But going through that, that's another thing. My mind was clear. My energy levels were boosted. I felt great. And introducing a meal is a challenge at times too, because you want to be careful with, you know, especially if someone's just fasting, the meal you're introducing. I recommend just like an avocado, you know, a little bit of nuts, little eggs, you know, something light, not crazy, maybe a light shake, something just to get your body working. Like, okay, this is what I mean now, a little PB, banana, whatever it is. But that was an enjoyable fast. I'll have to say, I'll have to definitely do that again.
You have the dopest music to the training videos, man. Like, how do you go about selecting those instrumentals or beats? Amazing.
Thank you, brother. And I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I find like, I love like old hip hop. I love like old hip hop. I love just finding like cool little beats. So I'm enjoying that as well. I'm enjoying like the process of just editing a video and you know, making it match up perfectly for the demonstration exercise I'm doing.
Yeah. And where do you work out? Sometimes I see you in a gym. Are you working out in a gym? And then I see you in like an open field. Do you have a soccer field, a playground or something near your house, or?
So
where do you work out?
Yeah, so I'm at a university right now. I'm at an apartment complex. So I have a gym here, but then my rec center from my university they have a rec center. So I'm like, okay, let me see what they got there. And it's a huge rec center. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna start working out there because they have different kinds of equipment, like a hex bar. They have medicine balls. They have just like an open track that I can run on, you know? So I was like, I'm gonna start going there. I can meet more people. They have a rock climbing wall. So I've been getting into rock climbing. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out there. And then I have a field. Where I'm at, it's like all fields. It's literally all fields. It's like the university's in the middle of nowhere. So it's like, there's a vast field. So there's soccer fields, there's football fields. Occasionally, when it's nice out too, I'll get out there and just get a good sweat in and get the sun in my body and literally just enjoy that weather. I'll do some kettlebell. Maybe I'll do some like ladder work, agility, or just train calisthenics.
Yo, my last question, Jake, you know, I was athletic as a kid, you know, and I could do the handstand, but I could never do a free handstand. Just go up on the ground and just do it slowly. I follow this Instagrammer, Ruby's in the Rough, I believe her name is. Amazing. The way she does the handstand, different positions, slow and just moving her legs. I'm like, amazing. And then I watched a video with you doing a free handstand. I'm like, where did you learn to do that? And what does it take? Is it the core strength so you don't fall over? When did you learn to do the free handstand? How long did it take you to do it?
So a free handstand and I still have a little tiny things that I definitely have to fix. And I feel like that's with everything. It's like little tiny things with the handstand specifically I gotta master with, but I'm able to hold that for about 30 seconds is my max. I can get up there and I can hold that. So I trained for this for about 2 years. Back when I even started my page, before I started my fitness Instagram page, I was doing it before, just trying to like fool around to see if I could get up there, get against the wall. And that's kind of where it starts. So it starts, anyone who wants to learn it, you have to start in progressions. You can start on the ground in a push-up position and walk your hands to your feet in something known as the pike push-up. So push-ups, it's like you're at a V position and you hold this. And that's all it is. You're training your body to hold this position and extend, get your shoulders away from your neck, because that's important. Every progression that you do, you want to make sure you master it and master it with perfect form. Master it with perfect form and make sure you're able to hold it for at least 10, 20, 30 seconds and actually get used to pushing my body away, lengthening my spine, and just getting in that pike position, holding it. Then over time, you want to bring your feet to a bench. So now I'm still pushing my shoulders away. And now my body should be like, here's my legs on the bench. Like here's the bench. Here's my feet, right? And my body's like that because my body's straight down. And then I'm kind of like in this L position now, holding this straight. So I'm getting used to training my upper body to do this because you're 100% right. It's a lot of core. It's a lot of core work. And for me, actually training a lot of core now that I do, a lot of abdominal work, it has helped me tremendously, you know, getting up to that position and keeping that control. Something that it's 20 times more, which I learned, is that it's a lot of wrist work. It's a ton of wrist work. And a huge secret that'll take you to the next level, take anyone to the next level, try and learn a handstand, is it's a lot of finger control as well. So wrist and finger control. When I'm up in that handstand, and someone could do this against the wall, because that's one of the next progressions. So I go from that elevated, I do kick up to the wall. I can kick up to a wall behind me. I can walk up, which I think is the best exercise to do to training and mastering the handstand, is getting your stomach to the wall, starting at a push-up position and walking in, being able to have 3 consecutive walks up, holding it for like 10 seconds and walking back down, walking back up, and really getting your chest and your head and your stomach against that wall and flat. So getting straight, pointing your toes. So when I'm up in that position against the wall, and someone can do this, if I slightly kick away and try to practice a free stand, you'll notice that when you fall back, your hands, you're falling back. So you want to push your palms into the ground. So I'm pushing my palms to the ground, and then I'll come forward. And then when I come forward, I want to squeeze my hands like I'm squeezing like a ball, a tennis ball or something. And then I'll come back. So it's like you're literally in this battle. Yeah, you're in this battle when you're in a handstand. It's crazy. When I started to realize it, I train a lot of grip strength as well, which has helped me. Like I'll hold weights by my side. I'll hang from a pull-up bar. And this helped me go to the next level with my handstands very, very fast. So I'll be up there and I'll fall forward a little bit, but I'll be like, I'll just squeeze my hand, keep that pressure, and then like kind of back and forth if I'm losing control a little bit, especially off like the first go. I noticed that right when I do like a kick up, I'm able to control that instantly. I have that strength now to do that. Breathing is great. Make sure you're breathing when you're actually up, not holding your breath in that handstand, but keeping a steady breath, but also keeping a tight core. Keeping tight glutes, tight quads, and then pointing your feet at the top and make sure your toes are straight, because you want that perfect alignment. What I struggled with a lot was a thing known as the banana handstand. So my handstand, I would be like that, but then my body was like all off balance. That hold exercise I mentioned, ab exercise, that'll help anyone with kind of mastering that position of getting more strict, getting rid of that banana position, and also stomach against the wall, just getting your pelvis into that rotation and practicing getting rid of that banana position, because we want to really perfect that. And I tend to do that banana position time and again. So I'm working on that really, really strict control, but pointing the feet help as well. But that's kind of, those are some quick tips right there. Kind of rambled on a little bit about it, but that's
no worries. All right, Jake. Thank you for coming out today. Let the people know where they can find you. Is it Instagram, Facebook, YouTube? Let us know.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Jake, Jake Portolese is my Instagram. And then you can find me on YouTube, Jake Portolese. I'm all of them on TikTok as well. So I'm on multiple links. Brain Gains is the podcast. You want to check that out. I'll be dropping much more podcast episodes. Thank you so much for having me, Star Scorpio. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. But we got to do one more thing. All right, Jake, last thing. I'm doing this for charity. My 3 charities are Cancer Society, ALS, and Alzheimer's Society. So I have 3 balloons, and you're going to tell me which one to pop. And then I'll know which charity I'm donating to.
Awesome. Ooh, let's go the one in the middle.
In the middle. And the 5th charity Star Scorpio is donating to is, oh my gosh.
There you go.
ALS.
Yes.
All right, Jake. 5th episode with Real Talk with Star Scorpio is complete and in the books. We out.
Thank you so much for having me. Peace.